Hello, Leo. This is your general reading for March 2021. Thanks for being here. It's good to see you all. March 2021. In like a lion, out like a lamb. That should sound pretty friendly to Leos. Leos like coming in like a lion. From the bottom of the deck, okay, Leo. Are you going to be guiding someone? Or are you going to be guided by someone? Remains to be seen. Let's start with the yin line today, Leos. This is a general reading, so it would be impossible to have it resonate for everyone. So if it does not, please feel free to check out your rising sign or your moon sign. Find out where Venus is in your chart. Take a look there. Yin, March 2021. Ace of Pentacles. Looking good. Magician. Eight of Cups. Hello. Leo, fortune is smiling upon you. But that being said, one must consider what the universe wants you to get out of the moment. So, Yin, let's keep that in mind while we go. That there's a quality here of certainly celebrating things that are positive and uplifting. There's another element of kind of staying grounded about it, remembering that there's a higher purpose to whatever we endeavor with, and that sometimes the lantern light of the hermit is required, whether we walk into his shoes and we become the lantern bearer, or we follow the one that's being held by someone else for us. So there's a certain amount of vulnerability and surrender that needs to take place. I'm sure you would agree. In your cards, however, the dance begins with the magician. And the magician, I find it fascinating to note that the magician is staring at the Ace of Pentacles, going, in effect, well, I see you over there, and I want to work with you. I see that you're full of potential for my earthly journey, so something that I want to do, something that I want to accomplish. And let's work together. Okay? So, in terms of what do you do with this, because he's obviously holding out the offer of providing energy and activity surrounding this process, yin. But what do you do with that activity as it pertains to the new potential for taking a fork in the road? Taking a fork in the road to a new place. It feels to me like what you do with it is you sit back for a minute and allow the light, the lantern light, to illuminate for you. Now Leos, I know, I'm an Aquarius, and I understand Leo. I speak Leo pretty well, being an opposing sign. And I know that with my Leo friends, that there is a need, if you will, almost a need, and desire for certain, to live in your fire, to march forward with courage, the courage of the lion. In this case, that may be something that needs to get set aside for a moment. Not for nothing, to take advantage of what the magician is offering. But in order to take advantage of that, the contemplation factor in absorbing yourself into what's inside this big pentacle here. What's in it for me? What's in it for my people? What's in it for the world? All the above. I mean, there are certain philosophies out there that say that the only worthwhile endeavor is to do things that when you benefit yourself, you benefit others. Think about it. It's your oyster, and it's your opportunity. And what's waiting for you out of that effort? I'm implying that there is some effort to be taken upon yourself. I mean, it's like you can have acts of omission and you can have acts of commission, right? And sometimes omission means omitting yourself from the equation, your ego from the equation. It's effort. Can be. Okay, so however, what are you doing it for? Well, the outcome is either you know this already or you're about to get a very pleasant surprise. It is a sincerely strong uplifting of your emotional nature, like only the Eight of Cups can provide. It's one of those, according to Rachel Pollack, it's one of those gate cards that when you walk through the gate, it's more than just your normal walking through a portal. You're walking through a gate to a higher level, a higher energetic level, a higher vibrational level. And yin, that's what's in store for you. So your yin nature, the receptivity and the nurturing qualities can assist you in, this is almost an alchemical process it's coming off like, with these energies at hand here. So you can, and what's nice about the magician is the magician stands up there and goes, well, I have everything that I need. You do. You have everything that you need. So the kind of the call to you, if you will, is to take advantage of it. Use everything you have. You have everything you need. What's going on with Yang? Leo Yang. March 2021. The winds of change from the shuffling cards want to blow the magician off the table, but I ain't going to let that happen. So Yang, you're starting out the Seven of Wands. Yay. Then you have an Ace of Swords. Seven of Wands, right? Ace of Swords, right? And last but not least, oh boy, a Five of Cups. So if you're in a partnership, you definitely want to take a look at this vertical column of cups here. If you're an individual, you want to take a look at your internal yin and your internal yang and the interplay of this column, because you have some opportunities there. I mean, when you get done with that, numerologically, you've got a 4. And that's stability. But to get there, you have to work on the combining of 8 cups with 5 cups. And that's another alchemical process. You can endeavor either within yourself or with someone outside yourself. Might be worth a try. I don't know if you're stimulated by challenges like that, but they can be really fun and adventurous. And they can be a pain in the you-know-what also, but still really adventurous. Okay, so Yang, you are wanting in the month of March, apparently, to express yourself as a thinking human being. And for that purpose, you're bringing your fire. I mean, there's a reason why that sword blade is red. That sword is full of vitality. And coupled with the Seven of Wands, you've got a firestorm going on. So connecting with your fire is going to be feeling like you can use home territory to get what you want, to get what you require. And if you're requiring this new beginning on some level of your self as an authentic being, yourself as a thinking human being, then that's going to be, just get up and go. You're not going to have to pull something out of your, the depths of your being to accomplish this. It's going to be right next to the surface for you. And you do want to take advantage of these wands too, and hit them up for their fiery quality, the integrity of intuition, the integrated intuition, the integrated inspiration that is within you. You want to use it. You want to be active about it. And for Leos, activity is not a problem. It is a go-to opportunity, a go-to activity in your everyday life. And once again, I'm seeing that this applies to you being either the provider of lantern light for someone else. It's worth a consideration that you're doing, somehow you may be doing this and it ends up being yes for you, but also for someone else, like we were saying earlier, that doing something for yourself implies and includes doing something for others. So be ready to be the lantern bearer, to walk someone else into a brighter future in their own experience. Or conversely, should you find yourself in the darkness on your way to getting here, look for the lantern light provided by others. And consider the fact that your Five of Cups is potentially an initiation for you. Potentially the kind of thing that you get knowledge and experience to a certain level, and then all of a sudden the universe sends you something to try you out, to shake you down and find out what you really have realized, what have you really absorbed, crystallized within your soul. And that shakedown and that kind of a confrontation of your knowledge against the situation is what brings you into a higher realm. That's a good, positive card. And what's more, it seems with the column here of between the yin and the yang, that it's being shared in both sides of the equation, both the divine feminine and the divine masculine. So that's another reason why it's beneficial, progressive, and important. You make the choice. It's a cool path, though. Looks like. Your cup of tea. 22 cards. Numbered 1 through 22. 22 major arcana cards. We're going to visit now the archetypal forces that live like orbiting planets around this spiritual biosphere that contains all these details. What are the forces that radiate energy into and from the divine, from the heavens, into our biosphere? That place where life happens, the unfolding of life. 4 cards, please. Starting out with 9. Going to 13. Next. 21. And 5. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Okay. Leo, March 2021. The situation is the Hanged Man. Nobody does it better in terms of thinking things through. It's a visualization kind of card. You hang yourself upside down and you visualize. And your obstacle is judgment. Your asset is the sun. Wow, it's your card. And potential outcome is death. Okay, there's a finality obviously here. And he's prepping you for it. Because if you turn him upside down, he becomes the dancer in the same posture as the world card. So he's actually contemplating a completion. And the reason he's hanging himself upside down is so that he can spend the time and the energy to focus on what that means, which means assessing everything that got him to that point and everything that will get him from that point to the conclusion, i.e. the world card. And so it's a very important moment. And it's somewhat akin to what I was saying here with the yin line, that this is the major leagues of this kind of energy, where you contemplate potential. And he's contemplating the potential of perfect balance contained in the world card. Here, you're just you're contemplating something important, but it is a rather mundane thing in comparison to the level of contemplation he is expressing, the Hanged Man. He's more on the universal cosmic scale. He's seeing the big picture without nuances. And that allows him to find himself in the operation and find the operation, i.e. the divine, within himself. I mean, he's not tackling small potatoes. He's tackling as within, so without. That's where he's at, and that is the situation here. So your march forward contains that. I mean, that's your well. You're going to go to the well and you're going to go draw water from that well. It's not going to necessitate that you do a masterful job and you get so evolved and achieve nirvana that you disappear from the planet Earth. However, your well is your well, and to know that that's your well is not a bad thing. Your obstacle being judgment. So we were talking a little bit more about being vulnerable and surrendering. In order to avoid this obstacle, or to be able to go through it and not get thrown off by it, you're going to have to yield to the inevitable. Allow yourself to be reborn. Allow yourself to have that kind of new awareness that you have to apply when you're going forward into your greatness. You're walking towards a better understanding all the time of your greatness, of your sense of purpose, your place in the universe, your feeling of connectivity with the divine. And that means you have to yield sometimes to the forces that are beyond you, that are going to, they're the waves that are going to take you to your shore, but you won't get there if you fight them. Perhaps you'll even drown. Who knows? Depends on how obstinate your spirit wants to be about something compared to how flexible you can be with something. And that willingness to shift your paradigm and to see flexibility where perhaps before you only saw rigidity is your key to getting through that. And what do you get out of it? You get a new awareness. You get the rebirth of new ideas, seeing things in a new way. Here's your friend. Here is your card, the Sun card. You are ruled by the Sun, Leos. And so the cards, this planet that is radiating energy down on your spiritual biosphere is encouraging you to be your sunny self. And the theme here is coming up again in my heart, and that is that when you're doing something for yourself, you're doing it for others. So the sun, our sun in our solar system, is certainly doing it for itself. It is engaged completely and entirely in the transmutation of hydrogen to helium, which creates light and heat. And yet, it also simultaneously is giving to us on planet Earth the radiation, the radiance of its endeavors for itself. It is engaged with itself, it's benefiting itself, and simultaneously benefiting us. And I think the cards are saying to you, they're encouraging you to, yes, stick that concept in your tool chest and pull it out as needed, as required. Use it as necessary. It's yours. And the death card is saying the following as a potential outcome. Something's going to die. And something needs to die. Death and taxes, the two things that we can't escape from. The two things where there is no choice. So it takes somewhat of a mature spiritual attitude, of course, to be able to see death as a necessary goodness, something that we can't escape anyway. But even though we can't escape it, we almost need to be able to perceive it in its correct manifestation. And death is part of life. And that's the level, because, I mean, we are at the archetypal level, right? So death in this case, archetypally, it's representing something. And in this case, my feeling is it's representing that something has to end. Look what we got here. Total potential beginnings. So we have endings and we have beginnings within this reading. Maybe the idea is that while you're taken off on this journey of new beginnings, you're remembering that death is part of it. And if you find yourself hearing the call of the hermit, if you find yourself once again in a place where that just ain't computing for you, that's the time to look for the lantern light and find out. And I'm not saying to get morose or fatalistic about this. I'm saying to look for the light, look for the lantern light, because benevolence lives in everything. Benevolence certainly lives in dark times, and that's why we have things like lighthouses, things like beacons, and things like lanterns. And I'm going to leave you with that. It is an extremely filled with energy kind of a reading for you, Leos. And I wish you a good March. I'm feeling like there's such a solid potential for you. But take it where you wants to go for you. Thanks for being here. I'll see you next month. Love you all. Till then, bye for now.